Here's my main point memo for tonight. First story is immigration. They don't want to fix. They want to fight. One of ours, all of yours. How is that the motto on the podium for the Homeland Security Secretary? We're in a war now? Who's the enemy? Renee Good? People who protest ICE? You did this right after she was killed? Is she not one of yours? A white American woman, a mother, she's not one of yours? You know your job is to de-escalate, right? You know that's why we give you the authority to have weapons and to use force, is because we expect you to de-escalate, okay? Do you want to keep playing us versus them? Because that game will lead to FAFO being the epitaph for the Trump administration. Now, before you tell me, oh, you're taking it out of context, go slow. So this motto just comes out right after November 7th, after the DOJ wants to investigate the dead lady's wife more than the guy who killed her, and just when the president decides to withdraw temporary protected status from some Somalians in Minnesota. Now look, the TPS, it's only like 2,000 people, but it's making the same point. You are not wanted here. And before you say, well, look, he's allowed to do it, and that's what elections are for, it matters why he's doing it. I'm the captain now, mocking the caricature from the movie Captain Phillips of the evil Somali pirate. This is a bigoted message because it's a bigoted policy. So why are they now threatening to denaturalize, to strip what an actual citizen earned? Why? For fraud? You know, if it's not in the application process in terms of your citizenship, every Supreme Court case has said, even if you were involved in fraud like this, it's not enough. And by the way, where's the proof of the fraud and who was involved? Next big point. Stop telling me ICE is just enforcing the law. How you do it and what you target matters. If a cop were to deck you for jaywalking, well, he's just enforcing the law. How he did it and what he decides to do to you in that moment matters, right? ICE keeps grabbing the wrong people, citizens. And they'll come up with an excuse. They grabbed a guy, oh, he assaulted us. Is that why you dropped him off a few blocks away? That's what you do when someone assaults you? No. You grabbed a citizen and you know it, so you let him go and then you made up a story. Second, yes, entering the country illegally is a crime, typically a misdemeanor on the first offense. Now, I know a lot of people on the left say entering illegally is only a civil offense. They're wrong, but the reason these people have been called undocumented immigrants since the 70s by the right and the left is because illegal aliens sounded inhuman in the context of what they did wrong. Now they're the biggest threat to the country, says MAGA. So you're having battle-ready troops chasing people who may have committed misdemeanors. You know what else is actually treated as a misdemeanor, typically? Excessive speeding, 86 in a 65. Have you ever done that? 30 officers come to find you? And guess what causes a lot more harm and death among Americans than illegal immigration? Excessive speeding. So sending thousands of enforcers to grab misdemeanors who are very often a lot more than how they entered. Meaning what? They're doing jobs that matter, often for substandard wages, paying taxes, putting money into the economy. This is not about crime for this administration, I argue, but complexion. This is not about what someone did, it's about who they are. And no, I don't think the answer is to abolish ICE any more than I would argue to defund any police or law enforcement. But ICE should be going after violent criminals as was promised, not millions of people who do a lot more right in this country than anything they may have done wrong. And you know I'm right, because like me, you probably have these people in your life, in your communities, and that's why community after community around the country keeps sending the same message. Okay? How they came does not define who they are. Topic 2, Iran. You better start paying attention. 2 reasons. 1, if you cared about Gaza, 70,000 is the number that Hamas says were killed in the 2 years after the October 7th massacre. Activist groups inside Iran say as many as 20,000 were murdered by the Islamist regime in just 2 weeks. Second, the reporting is mounting that the president may bomb there. On what basis? How is it legal? How does it not require Congress? Well, they suck in Iran. They're bad guys. And we may be able to push it over the edge if we do. Well, you don't know that. We've never seen it happen with any of our remote military efforts. And by that standard, well, they suck. They're bad guys. We'd be bombing all over the place all the time. What is the standard? And on what authority does a president get to decide unilaterally? Please pay attention to Iran for them and us. Topic 3, a tale of two realities. President Trump in Detroit today touting the economy's gains in a place where most are worried about prices and unemployment and inflation are higher than the national average. Many small businesses there struggling with tariffs. Trump blames credit card companies for some of the affordability pain, and he's right. But first he said he was going to cap interest rates himself. Can't do that. And then he shifted it to making it sound like he asked the credit card companies to do it themselves, which they won't do. Listen to the Speaker of the House on this idea.
One of the things that the president probably had not thought through, and others at first glance, it sounds great. The problem is if you do that, then the credit card companies, the negative secondary effect is that they would just stop lending money.
No, the negative secondary effect is that they'll stop giving you money. The finance industry is a huge donor to Mike Johnson and a lot of other people on the right and the left. That's why he's mostly reporting, repeating their talking points. And by the way, he's probably right. The credit card companies would likely lend to fewer people on the margins if interest rates were capped. But that is about greed, okay? A recent study found that these companies make 6 times more off credit cards than anything else. Okay? So if you were to put a 15% interest rate cap on credit cards, I know Trump said 10, but let's just 15, okay? And the companies cut back on spending and advertising and the rewards for the most risky credit card holders, right? That bait and switch deal, 0 credit for 3 months. They would still be very profitable. They'd be making nearly 5 times what they do on any other asset class. When will this administration return some sense of conscience to our capitalism? That would be doing what it takes to make America great. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.